believe in an afterlife, they believe in a creator. Their life has purpose. The Christian imagination of the history of the prophets makes very little sense. I think it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to be a believer, a blind faith. In the history of the West, atheism seems like a rational proposition because of its reaction to an anti-rational Christianity.
If God is all loving, why is there so much pain in the world?
The majority of the converts are women. How do we explain that if Islam is so oppressive to women? Even the sloppiness of Marxism to say that there can be no virtuous rich people. Islam proves that to be incorrect. Islam has a positive relationship towards local cultures. Beans and toast, right? Yeah. Completely fine.
I will not keep you long today. Always we hear news about Christian being killed around the world. But what make it more ugly, that if you are a poor or from a poor country, it doesn't matter really how many of your people die. I was looking in the news to see how many will report to us what's going on with the Christians in Africa. Every few days, not only like just yesterday, more than 70. This is June 13, 2024, more than 80. We go down. Pastor and wife kidnapped, and for sure they slaughtered them. Let us see. More news. All right. And you know what make it more ugly? That if 2 or 3 people killed in Germany, the whole world go crazy. But every day, hundreds, 80, 70, 200. I mean, who care? They are African, they are poor. You know, when this guy Floyd, the whole media, Democratic Party, they even created an organization. It's called the Black Lives Matter. But you know, this Black Lives Matter, it get activated only for the election purpose. The guy who died that day, he was chased by the police, and he
Republic of Congo. Why is no one reporting this? Why does no one seem to care? Well, let me bring in Dexter Van Zyl, an expert on anti-Christian violence.
Battleground for Islamist militants. On February 13, 2025, a horrifying attack unfolded in the northeastern territory of Lubero, where 70 Christians were beheaded inside a Protestant church in Kasanga. The perpetrators? Suspected members of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a ruthless group with ties to the so-called Islamic State, ISIS. This latest atrocity has sent shockwaves through the Christian community and underscored the growing Islamist stranglehold on parts of the DRC. The nightmare began at 4 a.m. in the village of Meba. According to field sources, ADF militants crept into homes under the cover of darkness, whispering a deceptive command. Get out, and don't make any noise. 20 Christian men and women obeyed, only to be seized by the armed intruders. As the local community rallied to devise a rescue plan, the militants tightened their grip, surrounding Meba and abducting another 50 believers. The captives, 70 in total, were marched to the church in Kasanga, where they met a gruesome end. Their severed heads are a stark testament to the barbarity now plaguing the region. Even after the killings, the terror persisted. Until February 18, families couldn't bury their loved ones due to ongoing threats. many critiquing persecution and genocide from Turkey and Azerbaijan.
History tragically repeats itself as we witness the modern-day genocide unfolding. Yet the media's silence on this issue is deafening. The Armenian people who've endured centuries of persecution due to their faith find themselves once again subjected to a brutal campaign of ethnic cleansing. In the grip of Azerbaijan and Turkey, countless Armenians are enduring unspeakable horrors: loss of life, forced displacement, starvation, and isolation from essential supplies. These are the same Armenians whose roots run deep in a land they've called home for generations. I implore the international community across all nations to take swift action, extend a helping hand to the Armenian population, offer them the protection they desperately need, and create a humanitarian corridor for their safe passage. Most importantly, let's engage in immediate diplomatic efforts to ensure that these exiled individuals can return to their rightful homes without delay. To the Armenian people who still suffer, I say, don't lose heart. God is with you.
بزي أسك خنا جمركم زبحاتي بزي أسك خنا جمر أبزي الله حادث بسك كده اختلفنا متانا قدم لكم كل
يعني فلسطين مالتيو أنا زمنايو إن شاء الله خا كتكبري ناي فلسطين مالتيو بتمنيتي قلنا إرثرا كتكبر عندي وعلي اتناي فلسطين إن شاء الله تيوم يهودا كم تزموسو خوصو كفلسطين إن شاء الله كان زي فلسطين تبال الناس أتواصلهم عدد ما مالتي أبزي أبهوتي كالله مالتي إن شاء الله بإذن الله الكريم كالي اتي تزارواي تقنية ود كبسا كبسا تفاناقلو زموس كابتو قبوتات أبقاش بركزالو كملاس مالتي خمر سينا زي قبل بخون قبرو كله دانيال تصفون محارجين إحفر الزبال ودي تسيني ودي قلوش قبلنا يدليني ودي ما يمني ودي ما يعيني ودي تايز زبلوزي عدقايا كابت كبساهم كل سوء عمبل قاش بركانا محمد النعال ترى التجارة دي مسيسكم مزالهم أبتا كريتا بقاش بركا الزخها كلهم مرسوينا نزخ نصرحنا كك أسأليو كتملسيها بجك حادي ودسو ولا أكتئ قراتي أنا ذا حارسة مسال الله خوصد مالتو نزياء من تيرث راسل تسوي لكن كالي زيون زامدا سياس كاب كبيب لك الله كاب قاش بركا زوال دوزي قبل بهم قبرهم أبقاش بركة قاسين كايت قصنيها كتملسيها زيوم أزمادو من سياس تقرينيا ودقاش بركة قبلنا إيدالين يسمين كم تحدى من عمر ودقا بسا يلن نيفر كآت تقرينيا ودي قاش بركة يلن زيا قبل بهم قبرو قبل بهم حضروا كم تبو بطحات زوارتكم ببطحات كتملسيهم
حماق جزي أب حماق عقات آمي أب شجرات نايت حبرة سب تخلو بوتنشال نايت سب أيسي دارجا هسيسوه بهالكار سبب نزي فلتو زجر من نجر أنا خنجرتها ناي فلسطين بعد ياسر عرفات فتحت بهالناتو مدة عبيت of course من مسريتهم تمثل سبع مشرفه. إذا خفت تاريخ. مخنياته سبع نسيق عند حاجة زي نسمة بكويت كله. قدامي تي أوبريشنز جوروا عن إسرائيل أيتي حزلهم زخدة نسي. زي حاجة. إذا إن ودبات أبي إثيوبيا دلوا كابويان جميركا.
Up in the Sinai Peninsula, and Hezbollah threatens Israel over the continued IDF troop presence. Israel's ambassador to the United States is warning about an Egyptian military buildup in the Sinai Peninsula, and Hezbollah threatens Israel over the continued IDF troop presence in Lebanon. Here to discuss these developments and more is Jewish News Syndicate Middle East correspondent Josh Haston. Josh, it's good to have you with us. So first, what can you tell us about the Israeli ambassador's assertion about the Egyptian troop buildup in the Sinai? Is it true? And if so, why would Egypt be doing that in violation of the Camp David Accords?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And this is a violation of those peace accords, which go back all the way to 1979. At this juncture, we're not exactly sure why the Egyptians are doing so. But Egypt, a country which borders Gaza and Israel, a country which did not let in many of those Gazans who could have been seeking refuge from the war in Gaza. Egypt also turning a blind eye for so many years to the Hamas smuggling tunnels. All of a sudden, they've established a military presence, several brigades down there in the Sinai. Number one, it seems like they're moving into an offensive position. Could they be perhaps trying to lead some sort of attack against Israel? That is our great concern right now. That's number one. Number two, could they be establishing positions there because of the Trump plan, thinking that perhaps, in fact, Gazans will try to flee towards Egypt? That could be a concern of the Egyptians. Now, they've been holding Gazans there, not letting them into Egypt. And all of a sudden, they're playing a role on an international stage, perhaps trying to keep them in Gaza against the Trump plan. They are trying to put together a plan of their own. They'd like to see the Gazans remain in Gaza, unwilling to help their fellow Arab Muslims, instead trying to hold them there as pawns against the state of Israel. So that it could be several of those factors playing in here, and that's the reason perhaps why you have a military buildup, again, in violation of the Israeli-Egyptian peace accords.
Well, the good